Howdy, 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 folks. This is Eyes of Heimdall, and today we're going to talk about the different variants of the Freelancer by MISC. Uh, this is an interesting ship group. As you look at it, you can see there's some interesting design cues. I think that's how I'm going to word that. The style is very strong. I get really strong B-52 classic airframe design cues from those fronts, especially that front glass. Before we dig into the Freelancer, let's get some of the house cleaning stuff out of the way. So I'm hard at work getting out content for you guys. I had to take about a week off while the servers were having issues. Seems to be fairly stable, so I'm doing my best to bang out some videos for you guys to have stuff to watch. Up next in my list is a single seat fighter guide. I'm going to be doing a Reliant comparison video, a Constellation video, some other things that are in the works, and then additionally I'm working on a secret project with some other content creators that I'm really excited. We're still not quite ready to reveal it yet. We want to have kind of a theatrical trailer release, if that makes sense, before we really dig into what it's going to be. But I think it's going to hit well. I'm excited to share that with you guys once we get ready to do that. But all that's out of the way. Let's start digging into the MISC Freelancer. So there are 4 variants of the Freelancer. We have the basic Freelancer, the Freelancer Dur, D-U-R, however you want to call it, the Freelancer Max, and then the Freelancer Miss. And one of the neat things about the Freelancer series, some of these ships, their variants just aren't that big of a difference between one or the other. That's not the case with the Freelancer. Each of these variants is very unique from each other while still having some similarities. They can all carry at least a bit of cargo. They're all pretty reasonably priced. I think value-wise, these are pretty solid ships. I do think there are maybe a little bit better options for some of them, but at the same time, it really depends on what you're wanting to do with it. The Freelancer Base is one of the starter pack ships that you can choose. It's $110 for a standalone Freelancer. It's $125 for the Freelancer starter pack. That gets you game access and this ship. As you can see, it's a pretty large ship. There's only one ship that's bigger that you can get a starter pack with. One of the neat things about Freelancers compared to a lot of the other starters is you've got this whole cargo area here. It's 66 SCU. And while it looks like that wouldn't get in the way, one of the downsides to the Freelancer as it is right now is getting some of the ground vehicles in the back here that should fit. Those 2 rails for the top turret are going to get in the way. And there's just not anything to do about it. I mean, you can jam vehicles in here sometimes. I mean, a basic Cyclone will fit, no problem. The Cyclones that have mounted weapons are going to be a little more problematic. But you've got that cargo area. You've got another cargo area here in the middle. From that airlock to the very front of the ship is identical in all 4 variants. You've got 4 beds. There's a bathroom, shower. I don't know that I'd want to use it, but to each their own. There is a kitchenette with a towel warmer. I'm just guessing that's what that is. I don't really know. We've got interesting little beer glasses here in the kitchenette. It's a nice look, I will admit. There is an engineering station, but at the moment it is not functional. You come to the front, you've got 4 seats. You've got these seats that are normally turret controls. There's a co-pilot seat, and then of course your regular pilot seat. This is one of the cheapest ships that has genuine multi-crew gameplay. There's also a side door. I'm not going to go out it though because it does the whole ladder animation. I don't like dealing with it at the moment. And that's most of what the base has to offer. It doesn't have a button drop for the ramp, which can be helpful, but can also be kind of a pain at times. The main competitor for this ship is the Cutlass Black. I do generally recommend the Cutlass Black unless you know cargo is specifically what you're buying the ship for, and then this is a better purchase. But if you're wanting a versatile ship when you're moving up to this tier of ships, I would stick with the Cutlass Black. It's a better fighter. It's a little more versatile, and you can fit different vehicles into it than you can in this. Next up is the Freelancer Dur. I'm not going to say Dur again. It's just one note about the Freelancers. They do have pretty powerful pilot-controlled weaponry, but they are usually laser cannons. The base Freelancer has laser cannons. I'm not a fan of laser cannons. We've gone over that before. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. The Dur is the exploration variant of the Freelancer. It loses a bit of its cargo capacity, so instead of 66, you're only going to have 36 SCU. And it does still have the turrets. I can't remember if they added. So you can see where the components are going to be, but for right now you can't actually get into them. I'm not sure what this middle section's supposed to be. I feel like they just wanted to make sure you knew you couldn't carry extra cargo. There is still that center section of cargo area. We get back to the front, and it's once again it's identical to the base Freelancer. One of the things about this ship to remember is there's not currently a gameplay loop for exploration yet. Now this ship does cost a little more than the base. It's $135, and it's only standalone. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the color scheme, but that's a personal thing. I'm just not a reddish orange on royal blue kind of guy. I do like the stainless steel look on the base. I don't think I mentioned it. One of the big advantages of the base over a lot of other ships is its price in game. It clocks in at 1,697,600 alpha UEC, which is a couple hundred thousand more than a Cutlass Black, but not so much more. So if you know you're going to want to run cargo when you're moving up from your base starter ship, save up a little extra and get the Freelancer. The Dur clocks in at just under 2 million alpha UEC. It's 1,967,600, which is quite a bit to me for a ship that doesn't have its main gameplay loop at the moment. Next on the list is the Freelancer Max. Now, I actually really do like this ship. I'm not a fan of the color, because once again, I'm not an orange guy. I grew up in the 90s, so orange was everywhere. But this takes everything that the base Freelancer does and just expands on it. You know, you get a bigger cargo area, substantially bigger, almost twice. The base Freelancer, once again, that clocked in at 66. This is 120 SCU, and you can already tell, like, it's much wider. The ship is longer. It actually kind of sticks out from my row pretty bad, and you've still got that extra smaller storage area at the front. But then we get to the front part of the ship, and once again, it's the same exact design as the base and the Dur. Well, that looks troubling. Well, let's go peek out at the last of the variants, the Miss. Before I run off, this ship is actually fairly inexpensive both on RSI and in-game for what it does. That is another of the downsides, is when you're trying to get out of this ship. Every now and then, you're going to find yourself in a turret, even though you didn't want to be. And they can be problematic when you're trying to get out of the turret. There we go. So on the RSI page, that ship is 150 Alpha UEC. Not Alpha, Jesus. I wish. 150 US dollars. Which, when you start looking at the ships that are over 100 SCU of cargo space, that's actually a heck of a deal. In game, it's 2,181,500 Alpha UEC. So still not that much more than a base model Freelancer, but you're getting almost twice the capacity. This is the Miss. Freelancer Miss is it's classified as a gunship. I actually tend to think of it as a missile boat. It comes with a lot of missiles. It's still got the turrets for defense. Like the Freelancer Dur, you do lose some cargo capacity. You're down to 36 again. And you can see the missile storage locations inside. And then, of course, we still have our little cargo area, so it's not useless in that regard. When we get back to the front, and once again, it's the same exact style and setup as the other three. I also kind of like the color scheme on this one. I served in the army, so I like olive green things. They look like home, I guess. All right, that's been my comparison video for the Freelancer series by MISC. Of the bunch, I generally would recommend, if I'm gonna pick one and I can only buy one, I'm probably gonna buy the Max. It's just the most versatile of the bunch, and it's got that extra cargo space. And cargo space matters once you start getting into these bigger ships, because that's how you make your money back on the purchase. As far as Alpha UEC, of course. The Miss feels like a great support ship. It is not a ship that I would take out by itself to do things. So that cost doesn't really even out for me personally. I feel like at that price point, which, by the way, on the RSI page, that's $175, and in game that's 2,537,800 Alpha UEC. So it's the most expensive of the bunch by a pretty wide margin. And I feel like I would much rather have a Constellation Andromeda if I'm running it by itself. However, if you're doing fleet engagements and you're pairing that with fighters and other ships, its missile capacity and its capacity as a gunship to add additional fire, I don't think can be overlooked. It definitely has value there. The Dur just needs its gameplay loop added. You know, once exploration's in the game, that's going to be a pretty good ship to own, because unlike some of the other exploration ships that are in its price range, it can still run some cargo and still make you money in other ways. The Freelancer Base is a great ship. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the way they fly, and I don't like the glass for the pilot. But if you take those two things away and you just look at what the ship is, it's a fairly versatile cargo ship. Now, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think the Cutlass Black is a better purchase if you're wanting it for versatility. But if you are looking for a moderately versatile ship whose specific goal is to run cargo, then the basic Freelancer is a great way to go. That's been Heimdall's buyer's guide for the MISC Freelancer series. Before I head out, I'm going to get my little stick in again. if you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, get notified when more content's coming out. I'm working on stuff all the time. I'm working to make fun, engaging, entertaining, but mostly informative content to help people who are either new to the game or are unsure of things that they haven't messed with in game. So, if you like what I'm doing, like I said, hit that like, subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you all out there in the verse.